Good morning, my dear students. This is Soma Sundari, Social Department. Today we are discussing about History Unit 5. The topic is Social and Religious Reform Movements in the 19th Century. First, Introduction. English education introduced with the object of producing collects also produced a new English educated middle class. This class came under the influence of Western ideas and thoughts. Christianity also had its effect on the newly emerging middle class. Though small in number, the educated middle class began to take a lead in political as well as in reform movements. The Indian reformers were, however, quite hesitant to subject their old notions and habits to critical scrutiny. Instead, they attempted to harmonize both Indian and Western cultures. Their ideas and their actions helped to mitigate social evils such as sati, female infanticide, and child marriage, and various superstitious beliefs. The reform movements of 19th century in the realm of religion fall under two broad categories. Reformist movements like Brahma Samaj, the Pratna Samaj, and the Aligarh movement, and the revivalist movements such as the Arya Samaj, the Ramakrishna Mission, and the Deoband movement. They were also attempt to challenge the oppressive social structure by Jyoti Bale in Pune, Narayana Guru and Ayyankali in Kerala, and Ramalinga Adigal and Ayodhi Dasa of Tamil Nadu. Next, early reform movements in Bengal. First, Rajaram Mohan Rai and Brahma Samaj. Rajaram Mohan Rai, born in May 22, 1772, Radhanagar in Bengal. He was born in British ruled Bengal in prosperous family to the Brahmin class. Little is known as his early life and education, but he seems to have developed unorthodox religious ideas at an early age. As a youth, he travelled widely outside Bengal. Indian religious, social, and educational reformer who challenged traditional Hindu culture and indicated lines of progress for Indian society under British rule. He is sometimes called a father of modern India. Rajaram Mohan Rai was one of the earlier reformers influenced by the Western ideas to initiate reforms. He was a great scholar, well versed in Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, and English, apart from his knowledge in his mother tongue, Bengali. Rajaram Mohan Rai was opposed to meaningless religious ceremonies and all forms of pernicious social customs. Yet, he wanted to preserve continuity with the past. In his religious philosophical social outlook, he was deeply influenced by monotheism and anti idolatry. Based on his interpretation of the Upanishads, he argued that all ancient texts of the Hindus preached monotheism or worship of one god. Deeply concerned with the prevailing customs of sati, child marriage, and polygamy, he published tracts against them and petitioned the government to legislate against them. He advocated the rights of widows to remarry. He wanted polygamy to end. He appealed to reason and humanity and compassion of the people. His campaign played a key role in forcing Governor General William Bentinck's legislation abolishing sati in 1829. Rajaram Mohan Rai condemned the subjugation of women and opposed the prevailing ideas that women were inferior to men. He strongly advocated education for women. He gave his full support for the introduction of English language and Western sciences in schools and colleges. Rajaram Mohan Rai founded the Brahma Samaj on 20th August 1828. He opened a temple in Calcutta where there was no image. There he laid down no religion should be revealed or slightly or contemporaneously spoken of or alluded to. The Samaj forbade idol worship and condemned meaningless religious rituals and ceremonies. However, from the beginning, the appeal of the Brahma Samaj remained limited to intellectuals and enlightened Bengalis, though the Samaj failed to attack the people from the lower sections of society. Its impact on the culture of modern Bengal and its middle class was quite significant. Rajaram Mohan Rai headed the intellectual movement, generally known as the Indian Renaissance or the re-establishment of the glory of ancient Indian culture. When Rajaram Mohan Rai came to on the stage of Indian history, ancient Indian values had slowly given place to formalism in religious and social life of people. Religions had assumed the shape of either extreme asceticism or excessive ritualism with no urge to life or inspiration in it and no positive criterion of truth. It was perhaps the darkest age in the modern India history, an age in which an old society and polity had crumbled and no new one had yet been built in its place. India then needed religion with a wholesome basis and practicability. His attack on Orthodox Hindu customs was not due to any narrow Scatterian bias but guided by his desire to reform Hinduism of all the rubbish of superstition and priest graft created during the centuries of ignorance. He declared that in its purity Hinduism would not be different from other religions. Rajaram Mohan Rai believed that religion must inculcate knowledge, love of God, and sympathy for his own fellow man. It must inculcate human feelings and soften the general attitude. He rejected polytheism on the basis of his own interpretation of the Hindu scriptures. His strongest faith in monotheism was motivated by the aim of to bring mankind together for the better life. He was the first great Indian who transcended all geographical barriers, who did not recognize any difference between the East and the West, and fulfilled in his life the great ideal of universal brotherhood. Like other contemporary Indian leaders who followed him, Rajaram Mohan Rai pleaded for the scientific basis of education, but his deep study of ancient Hindu culture, despite his love for scientific education, did not make him appropriate the materialism of the West. His contribution to the political awakening of India is immense. He is known as the prophet of New India. Baba Surendranath Banerjee described him as the father of the constitutional agitation in India. He was the arc which spanned the gulf that yawned between ancient caste and modern humanity, between superstition and science, between immobile custom and concentrative progress, between polytheism and theism. Rajendra Mohan Rai is regarded as the father of modern India and Indian Renaissance. He was a social reformer for excellence. Most of the reform movements that have revolutionized in Hindu society can be traced to his great son of India. Roy's importance in modern Indian history rests partly upon the broad scope of his social vision and striking modernity of his thought. He was a tireless social reformer, yet he also received interest in the ethical principles of the Vedanta school as a counterpoise to the Western assault on Indian culture. In his textbook and treatise, he contributed to the popularization of the Bengali language, while at the same time he was the first Indian to apply to the Indian environment the fundamental social and political ideas to the French and American revolutionaries.
Raja Ram Mohan Roy, born in Radhanagar, Bengal in 1772, is often referred to as the father of Indian Renaissance. From this palatial house in Calcutta where he lived, he radiated a reform movement which swept the country far and wide, leaving a lasting impact. His zest gave the death knell to the barbarous practice of burning the widows alive. Roy declared that his efforts were aimed simply at purifying and not overthrowing the Indian tradition he had inherited, and at the same time taking stock of and absorbing the best in those influences from elsewhere to which India was then exposed. With the hope of purging Hinduism of its superstitions, he promoted the Brahma Samaj. Roy's contribution to the Renaissance rests, firstly, in his refusal to accept tradition for its own sake, and his willingness to give it up when he deemed it desirable, and secondly, in his inducing Indians to be forward-thinking in terms of similarities and the common basis of things. He led them in the direction of unity and synthesis, an end which could be achieved only through a willingness to admit, evaluate, and accept the best in that which was different. He did this, of course, in large part because of his own personal qualities of magnanimity of mind, depth of compassion, uncompromising integrity, and complete fearlessness. Roy thought far ahead of his times. His vision of a League of Nations was not realized until another century, a vindication of his breadth of outlook and universe.
Now I explain Maharishi Debendranath Tagore. Debendranath Tagore was a Hindu philosopher and religious reformer active in the Brahma Samaj. He was the founder in 1848 of the Brahmo religion, which today is synonymous with Brahmanism. Born in Shaileda, his father was an industrialist, Dwarkanath Tagore. He himself had 14 children, many of whom included Nobel Prize winning poet Rabindranath Tagore, made significant artistic or literary contribution to society. Debendranath's effort, the influence of Brahmanism, spread throughout India. He became known for his spiritual accomplishment as Maharishi as great soul, which was confirmed by Sri Ramakrishna, though his social and religious reforms. Debendranath played an important role in the Bengal Renaissance. He was also instrumental in the transformation of Indian life, though the way of influenced his children, of whom so many were successful and influential. Debendranath and his wife Sharda Devi had 15 children. After death of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Maharishi Debendranath Tagore, the poet Rabindranath Tagore's father, carried on the work. He laid down 4 articles of faith. In the beginning there was nothing. The one supreme being alone existed who created the universe. He alone is the God of truth, infinite wisdom, godness and power, eternal, omnipresent, the one without second. Our salvation depends on belief in Him and His worship in this world and the next. Belief consists in loving Him and doing His will. As a result of his studies, he concluded that the broad universal basis of natural theism was that it was religion that explains the scriptures religion. Debendranath was essentially a Hindu in all his spiritual aim and aspirations. For his ideal of religion, he never turned to the West. Next, Kesab Chandra Sen and Brahma Samaj of India. Debendranath was a moderate reformer, but his younger colleagues in the Sabha were for rapid changes. The greatest of these, Kesab Chandra Sen. Kesab Chandra Sen was born in November 19, 1838, Calcutta. Kesab Chandra Sen joined the movement in 1857, but in 1866, a split occurred in the ranks of Brahma Samaj. Kesab left the Samaj and founded new organization. The Debendranath organization thereafter came to be known as Adi Brahma Samaj. After Kesab had his 14-year-old daughter married to an Indian prince in contravention of the Samaj condemnation of child marriages. The opponents of child marriage left the Brahma Samaj of India and started the Sadharan Samaj. Next, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was an Indian educator and social reformer. His efforts simply and modernized Bengali prose were significant. He also rationalized and simplified the Bengali alphabet and type, which had renamed and changed since Charles Wilkins and Panjayan Karmaka had cut the first Bengali type in 1780. He is considered the father of Bengali prose. Another outstanding reformer in Bengal was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, while Ram Mohan Rai and others looked to Western rationalized ideas to reform society. Vidyasagar argued that the Hindu scriptures were progressive. He provided evidence from scriptures that there are no sanction for burning of widows or for the provision on remarriage of widows. He wrote a number of polemical tracts and was the pioneer of modern Bengali prose. He played a leading role in promoting education of girls and helped them in setting up a number of schools. He dedicated his whole life for the betterment of the child widows of the Hindu society. The movement led by Vidyasagar resulted in the Widows Remarriage Reform Act of 1846. This act was intended to improve the lot of child widows and save them from perpetual widowhood. It was also to the credit of Vidyasagar that the first age of consent was included in Indian Penal Code, which was enacted in 1860. The age of marriage was fixed in 10 years. It was raised to 12 and 13 years in 1891 and 1925 respectively. Sadly, as reported in the Age of Consent Committee, the law renamed on paper and the knowledge of it was confined to judges, lawyers and few educated men. Next, I will explain Prarthana Samaj. Prarthana Samaj or Prayer Society in Sanskrit was a movement for religious and social reform in Bombay. India, based on earlier reform movements, Brahmana Samaj was founded by the Dadaba Bondarang and his brother Atmaram Bondarang in 1863. When Keshav Chandra Sen visited Maharashtra with an aim to make people believe in one God and worship only one God, it became popular after Mahadev Govind Ranade joined. The main reformers were the intellectuals who advocated reforms of the social system of the Hindus. It was spread of southern India by noted. The Maharashtra region was another region where reform activities gained steam. A movement similar to the Brahma Samaj but founded in Bombay in 1867 was Brahmana Samaj. Its founder was Dr. Atmaran Bondarang. The two distinguished members of this Samaj were R.C. Mandarakar and Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade. They devoted themselves to activities such as intercaste dining, intercaste marriage, widow remarriage, and improvement of women and depressed classes. Ranade was the founder of the Widow Marriage Association, the Pune Sarvanjak Sabha, and Deccan Education Society. The aim of the society is the promulgation of theistic worship and social reform, and its early goals were opposition of the caste system, the introduction of widow remarriage, and encouragement of female education and abolition of child marriage. Children, now we are going to end of the session. I hope you are all observing the class properly, isn't it? Well done. Reading practice is very important because you have studied 10th portion, isn't it? So you must read 2 times today's topic. Tomorrow I'll ask few questions from today's topic. So revise properly. Thank you children. See you next class.